Hi, I'm Dan Siegel, and I am so excited to introduce you to a new series of books that I've written called NowMaps. One that we'll talk about today is NowMaps Junior for kids 3 to 6, and the other that I wrote with Dina Margolin is NowMaps for tweens. So in this book that you can read as an adult with your 3 to 6-year-old, so a preschool kid, really allows you to dive deeply into social and emotional learning. And let me read you the beginning of the book so that you can get a feeling for where we go in this set of adventures. It's adventure stories to help young kids navigate everyday challenges and grow in caring and kind ways. Now, that may be a beautiful subtitle, which I think it is, but it's based on a huge amount of science that's beneath the book. So these are fun rhyming stories that are adventures, and it begins like this. NowMaps Junior, a dedication to my wonderful colleague, Mary Hartzell. And then you dive in and you meet our protagonist, the main character. And you see, like almost every preschooler, she says, my days have good and bad. My outer world experience I process in my head. My inner world is full of all my thoughts and feelings too. And with sensations in my body, I make sense of what to do. Sometimes I choose the right choice. Sometimes I make mistakes. But with my parents' guidance, big learnings I will make. So, you can see her thinking about this. It's time to go on an adventure with all our tools in hand. Our NowMap is the key to travel, the seas and all the land. So these are the tools that she'll learn. We have a button we can press to pause the moment fast. And then we have our flashlight beam and our feelings we will cast. So the pause button, the focus flashlight. Before we journey onward and go about our day, we use a special monitor to check if we're okay. And that's called the OK monitor. And you could be okay in the green, almost not okay, and I'm color challenged. Is that yellow or orange? And then the not okay in red. Then you get to this exciting offering of 3 different adventures. With these 3 tools, we're ready, and you're reading this to your 3 to 6-year-old, now can get to choose. The adventure's up to you. You really cannot lose. So as you know, kids of this age will like to go over stories and over them again. So this gives them actually empowerment to choose among these 3 stories. 1 is the jungle, 2 is the desert, and 3 is the pirate ship. And in each of the stories, our protagonist will come up with a certain challenge and need to use her pause button, her focus flashlight, and her OK monitor in wonderful rhyming ways that allow the child listening to the story to see how you basically develop this capacity to cultivate a now map to see what's happening right now and how can I make the outcome of what's going on that's so challenging better. And all sorts of different things happen. I'm not going to read you the whole book, but in the jungle adventure, there's a certain process that goes on where she's got to learn to reflect on what's going on inside of her. And these moments then of reflection, I call them mindsight moments, are ways in which that moment is illuminated with the flashlight. It's allowed to hold in place because of the pause button. And whether you're in a state of threat and feeling not okay, or feeling like things are secure and you're like in a secure base, things are okay, your OK monitor lets you know that. And you'll see that she uses this again and again. So you have the jungle adventure, then you go out into the desert. You can see here at the end of the jungle adventure, she's meeting with her mom. And then there's a resolution to what goes on. And then you find out in a new adventure what's happening. And when the challenge goes on, she then imagines being in the desert. and you go through all these fun adventures in the desert where you're then learning to use your tools. You can see them here. And as you see them being used, you see their benefit. And the child seeing these stories can learn that they too can incorporate them in their life. And then the meeting with the dad. And then after that's resolved, there's another thing that happens. And you see we have the kind of story indicated here on the side. This is the third story, the pirate ship. And there's a challenge that goes on, difficulty with a friend, fighting over a toy. And then the question is, what do you do? So she imagines it in this wonderful fantasy world, in this case of being a pirate. And then at the end, what you have as an adult who's read all these stories is you have this summary that I've written up based on science, this note for caregivers and professionals that allows you to see in one page, basically the science and practical applications of using the pause button, the focus flashlight, and the OK monitor in these stories, so that as these stories are told over and over and over again, as these stories are explored over and over again, what you get a chance is to see how your child that you either have as your own child at home, or you're working within a classroom as an educator, or you're a clinician working with a child, how they can use these social emotional learning tools to actually build their skills that can help them thrive in their life. So thanks for listening in to NowMaps Junior. And I look forward to hearing how you experience the NowMaps adventures for yourself and how you're teaching them to children of whatever age you're working with. Thanks for joining. If you get a chance, the book will be released on October 11th, which happens to be my son's birthday, yay. And you can pre-order either book in the NowMaps series, NowMaps Junior for 3 to 6-year-olds or NowMaps for tweens right now. And I'll look forward to hearing how that series goes for you. Thanks a lot.